Hello, 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 and good evening to all of you. Good evening to fans of This Week in Interview and the listeners and guests of TDN Radio. It's another Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and you know that's what we do. At that time, we have This Week in Interview where I get to share with you conversations with pretty interesting people, and of course, it's the highlight of my life. I get to meet people that I would not normally meet, were it not that I'm the host of this program, This Week in Interview. And in addition to that, as we've been doing in the last 3, 4 weeks, we're blessed with the presence of Jewel, the host of Minds in Motion. I'm trying to um, couple our program, so to speak, because she starts at 7 on a Wednesday and it flows into This Week in Interview. And for those of you who may be otherwise occupied and you cannot join the show live, have been bringing her on so she can share a little bit of what she discussed in her program. So we're going to go over to her, Joel. I hope you had a great week since last week, Wednesday, and welcome.
Yes, I have had a great week. Thank you so much, Anthony, for having me on your show again. Yes, how was your week? I just want to ask you that before I get into what
You
I.
know, I had a wonderful week. For especially, we've been having a group where we've been trying to work on um, trying to help introduce steel band music to the schools in Dominica. And then it so happens that my guest that I have tonight, Pastor Adrian Banis, has a connection with a church in Virginia, and
Uh-huh.
they had an entire steel band sitting in their storage that they've
Oh,
been using for a number of years,
wow.
and they agreed to that if we know what to do with it, we can come get it. So I went to Virginia
Mm-hmm.
on Thursday
Mm-hmm.
and picked up a whole steel band with about 2021 pieces
Wow.
and drove it back to New York City. So the next step is to get it to Dominica.
All
So that was
right.
pretty exciting. I like road trips.
Yeah.
And so it was exciting driving back.
Mm-hmm.
Um, had a wonderful pickup truck. I haven't driven a pickup in a while.
Okay.
So that was fun. I know that may not be people's idea of fun, but it was,
It is fun. I love road trips as well, and
yeah.
I'm familiar with the state of Virginia and New York City, so I can imagine the drive. That was what, a 15, almost a
No, it
15.
wasn't a lot. No, no, no. More like a 7, 8 because I
Okay,
stopped. I didn't. I stopped a couple of times, but
okay,
yeah,
so from here it's probably a 15 year. I'm in
yeah.
Canada, so
It's
it's
more like
probably a little
8.
bit.
Yeah, Canada would be further up. Yeah.
Yeah,
Further.
okay.
So, what was
Um,
your topic tonight on Minds in Motion?
so my topic tonight on Minds in Motion was about perimenopause. So it's I was telling our producer that this was the topic, and it's for everyone. It's not just for us ladies, but perimenopause is important to know about, for the men to know about as well, because when your partner or your significant other is having these mood swings and the hot flashes, I think it's important for your guests to understand that men also need to understand what their women are going through as well. So it was a good topic. I think we could have covered more, but that hour sometimes doesn't allow us to discuss everything we want to talk about. But it was an interesting topic.
So, what is perimenopause? It's not pre. It's not post. Peri is while it's happening.
Perry is just before. It's a sign. It's a symptoms that are happening before menopause kicks in.
Okay.
And so, how the doctor explained it, so I had Dr. Kathleen Neary on, and she explained that it is almost, she tells her patients that it's when the ovaries are about to retire.
Mm.
So, that's her analogy. Um,
Pre-retirement leave. Yeah.
Pre-retirement.
Yeah.
So it's like, sometimes they want to show up to work, sometimes they don't, and sometimes they're lazy and whatnot. So the woman would see her menstrual 1 week, 1 month, and then maybe not for a few months, and then it shows up. So it's just that analogy to give us some understanding of what's happening. And I didn't really understand, I didn't realize that it was a brain connection and then everything that happens with our body is connected to our brain. So our brain is constantly sending out signals to our body about producing estrogen. So not to take up the whole show about, you know, the whole introduction here, but that is what it was, perimenopause. And I wasn't excited about it until I heard all of these things.
Right. And so it's for both men and women that um, it affects mood and behavior and interaction and relationships.
Yes.
And so not a knee-jerk reaction from people around the particular person, but an
Yeah.
understanding that what we're seeing may not be totally deliberate and intentional. So
Absolutely.
allow for some grace.
Absolutely.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. That's what it was
So
about.
June is the month of men's health.
Hmm.
So men, you can help preserve some of your stress level and your mental health by understanding that some of the things that make you go, "What was that?" more than normal may not necessarily be her fault completely. She
Thank
may
you.
be going through stuff that's out of her control. Okay.
Yes. That's what it was about.
Men's
So
health in
not
June.
to say, so men's health is yes, so we are trying to help you preserve your stress levels as well.
Right,
We're not
right.
going to try to stress you out so much. You know, June's almost done though, so we, we have July, August, September, and every other month to do that.
All right. So thank you so much for stopping by.
All right.
It's a
Take
pleasure.
care.
Looking forward to next week. Continue
Oh,
to
today
enjoy the
is
week.
this is my last episode as well, by the way, Anthony.
Also, you're doing
From my
seasonal.
season, I
Okay.
am doing seasonal because I am
Hmm.
preserving my health and mental health as well.
Hmm.
So I I'm gonna be taking the summer months off and come back in the fall.
In the
So
fall. Okay.
yeah.
All right.
All
Okay.
right.
Well, enjoy the summer.
All righty. Thank you. You as well.
Maybe I bring you on as a guest during the summer,
Yeah, that would
just
be
just
interesting.
just to prevent you from getting stale. You know.
Whenever you would like. Take
All
care.
right then.
All right.
Great.
Have a good evening.
You too.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Bye bye.
All right, folks. So this was Jewel, the host of Minds in Motion, and she's going to come back in the fall. Uh, special good evening to you if you're listening in from Dominica. RVR Jams on DigiPlay Channel 59 carries this week in interview live. So does online radio SBE in the Toronto market carries this week in interview live, and you may be looking at us or listening to us on tdntv.net, tdnradio.net, and Roku, WhatsApp, your Facebook page, YouTube, and so on. Did you hear that Fox News is purchasing Roku? And so the streaming platform marrying with Fox News it's interesting to see what it will morph into. But I think we've kept our regular guests waiting. As usual, we're doing our once a month installment of the Green MAGA, Make Agriculture Great Again, with my co-host. I'm calling him a co-host from now because if you come on every month, you're not a guest, right? You're host people, you're home people. Pastor Adrian Banis. So it's a pleasure to have you, Pastor Adrian. Um, if it's possible, that's right. Tilt your camera a little bit. And welcome. It's great to have you back. It feels like we haven't been on for a while, but I know we did have you in May, and now we're having you in June. But I guess we
For a
missed
while.
you. We missed you when you're not there. So it's great to see you. How have you been?
I,
Okay. It looks like you're frozen, but we hear your
you
audio
and me?
anyway. I'm hearing you. Yes.
All right. I do
Okay.
flow have a problem in the entire Caribbean, so I don't know
Oh, that's what it
what
is.
is it.
Okay, yeah, yeah. Last week we had to abort
Yeah.
um, the program a bit because the internet of our guest. I just wanted to turn the lights on. Sorry about
They
that.
went they
Our
went they went totally from Sunday to Sunday all Monday. they will
Hmm. It looks like they're still having issues because Adrian
awful.
is coming in and out, very choppy.
Maybe it's the internet then.
Yeah, it is the internet that's misbehaving. Maybe try. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't even know what to say to try. But let's go. Let's see if it gets better. If it doesn't get better, then we will have to postpone. But
yeah,
tonight we were hoping to discuss climate smart agriculture and the participation and potential
yeah,
benefit
and
for young people. So tell me,
yeah.
what is climate smart agriculture?
Climate smart agriculture is really farming according to your climate, because in there are different climate now climate activities. Wow, where you having lots of rain, not the rain like before, heavy rain.
Hmm.
Then you have sun almost drought. We had just had a drought, but we have some rain right now. And sometimes having heavy hurricanes. So in our area in the Caribbean, we have to come up with ideas to farm so that we can, within the climate, we can plant and we can grow food that will help, that will be able to be climate resistant. Foods like food, for instance, if a hurricane blow, you plant food in if a hurricane blow, you don't have to go back and plant again. You all you do, you just continue to take care of it so you look at the root crops. So you plant a lot of root crops like sweet potato, dashing, tanya, yams, and this thing. That is one that is going to help.
Hmm.
Then we plant, if you are planting trees, we need to plant fruit trees, and most of the fruit trees, when they grow in the ground, they grow back as quick as possible. For instance, avocado, cocoa, most of the trees that bear fruit, they grow back as quick as possible.
Hmm.
So that's what you are calling climate smart agriculture, farming with the climate in mind, and ensuring that you implement or you plant fruits that are resistant to the climate.
Okay.
You hear
So
me?
yes, I'm hearing you. So in other words, it is to be able to assess what's happening in your environment. So just like with the utilities, if we're in a hurricane prone country, instead of running your electric and telephone and internet wires above
Right.
ground, if you can afford it, you put them underground.
Run
So
it underground.
similarly, you're saying
Yeah.
get crops that are underground, potatoes, dashing, tanya, and so on. And for the above ground, find out which crop and which trees are, are less affected or recover quicker after a storm. So
Yeah. Recover.
w- right. So how do you see uh, that? That's a challenge. How do we turn that into an opportunity to attract more young people to look at agriculture as viable?
Well, the thing is that if you farm like this, you are going to have crops on your farm year round, or you're going to have it constantly because every season you're going to have crops
Hmm.
where so you'll be able to sell fresh produce and you can still add value if you have a glut on the market, and if also you have, like for instance, based on the market that you are going in, they are watching for premium fruits. So the fruit that on borderline, you can turn it into added value. So that in itself will bring a huge benefit to you. because you'll always be making money. It doesn't matter what happens, but you'll be able to sell. For instance, I'm going to give you an example. When Maria Blue had chips, and the chips sold in a matter of in a shake.
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's with chips that we process before Maria.
Mm-hmm.
So could you imagine if you had around a 10 or 15 barrels of chips, or 15, or you had about 1,000 cartons? Do you know how much money you would have made during that time? Because people haven't got provision. Because remember how we farm in the Caribbean, we only plant seasonal, and we only plant, let's say, from January to go back, we plant our dashing from, and then some people plant sweet potato, they wait for a certain month.
Mm-hmm.
And some people plant other crops, they wait for a certain time. But in the time that we are living in, we need to plant every day, every month. You plant to make sure that you always have. So in the event of anything happen, you have stock that you can continue to sell, you can continue to eat. Because I find they are talking about food security in the Caribbean. Food security. Everybody jumping on food security. Everybody jumping on climate smart farming. To me, they turn it into even now a big business in
Mm-hmm.
theory, but in practical, to me, they do not even know what they are doing. The other day I was at a meeting, and the Ministry of Agriculture was talking about a seed bank. Okay? Now you're talking about a seed bank. So, but you are not saying what kind of seeds that you are going to put in the bank. Um, and also, you are not targeting various trees and plants that you are going to put in the seed bank. Okay? So I was saying to them, we are living in a hurricane prone environment. We have to know what kind of seeds that we are going to put in that seed bank, so that in the event of you have a hurricane, you are able to use the seeds that you have, so you are able to bounce back as quick as possible. Okay? So
Right.
it's not just saying you're going to do something, but what you're doing must make sense. And it
Right.
must not just making sense for now, but it must make sense for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when all the coconuts were destroyed after Maria. I was that time I used to be the chairman of the coconut platform, and then we had a meeting, and I said to them, we had already set up the nurseries to put the coconut plants, and we were going to take the coconut plants from our coconut. But when the hurricane blew, they changed their mind, and they said that, oh, they are not going to take coconuts from our coconut. They are going to now import coconut plants. I told them they should not import coconut plants. They told me, well, how I am coming up with that idea? Because the coconuts in Dominica, they do, because the hurricane blew, they do not know which coconut that is producing over 30 coconuts in a bowl.
Mm-hmm.
But I said to them, all through our lifetime, how our parents planted coconut. They took the coconut, they let it make the coconut under any tree, to the plant under
Right.
any tree.
Mm-hmm.
But what
Mm-hmm.
they did, they used the moon,
Right.
okay, so that to plant the coconuts. The guy told me, boy, yeah, I didn't go to university, so I do not have any I do not have
They
the,
discount. You mean they discounted the idea that the moon
yes.
affects yield?
And then they went overseas for the coconut, and then they had problems because when the coconuts reached in Dominican Republic, it had a disease that if that ever entered Dominica, it would wipe out our coconut industry. So in the DR, they just they burn the whole container.
Wow.
Okay, and so I use the same plants and I plant them, and now I mean I have coconut. I have a coconut tree, one coconut tree making a hundred coconuts in a bowl.
Mm.
Could you imagine?
Wow.
So so everything that you are doing have a science,
Mm-hmm.
but also the traditional science is also important because our parents, that's how they live, and they did very well in their agriculture.
Right.
If you remember our your father and our father and them, when they plant a tanya tree and they pull a tanya, you always get in a bag
Right.
because of the moon that they use.
Yeah.
I remember Wega. This is Wega.
Mm-hmm.
Wega was used to plant banana. At the time I was an extension officer. And Wega would tell me he would wait for full moon to plant his bananas. He would dig all the holes, put the plants in them, and when the full moon day come, he plant his by tell him why. He told me if you plant banana at full moon, you get a very big bunch and a long bunch, and then
Mm-hmm.
it make less plants.
Some less suckers. Okay.
Less suckers, right? Less
Mm-hmm.
suckers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So and so this man had a secret that he believed that it was working and it was working well for him and really for true. He used to have a lot of bananas. He did not really have a big field, but he used to have lots of bananas and nice, big, healthy
Bunches.
bananas.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So the traditional knowledge is really good for planting, and that also can go into what you call in climate smart agriculture because you are tying in traditional knowledge with what now if what you learn in recent times. I always say from the time I went back to traditional knowledge, I have my yields and I have seen that I'm doing much better than when I used to do agriculture the way that it was presented to us. That you just come and you just plant stuff and then you're using Gromoxood and you use all kind of different things. And right now, my goal, one of the goals that I have in mind, is to reach a place where we can use full time organic fertilizer and to put in all our crops. And there are ways you can even do it, even you don't have to, you can even do it even before you do it because you can take your peeling, build up, put your do something around your tree and put the peeling there. And as the peeling rotting, you put more.
Right.
And that, because remember again, when you look at traditional way of doing things, our parents used to grow food in their backyard, and they never
Right.
used to give it not a grade of fertilizer.
Yeah. You throw the
Right,
peelings and whatever else in that area. Mm-hmm.
right. And do you know when a hurricane blew, these trees they were not falling out, you know.
Right.
They would be battered, but then
They
by
recover
the next
quickly.
couple of
And
weeks,
even some of them that will topple, they will just
yeah,
continue growing. Yeah.
right. So again, everything that you're doing has a science, but
Mm-hmm.
local knowledge or traditional knowledge is something that we cannot leave out in our agriculture. We can't leave it out. So
It's
that
very.
is
Go
uh,
ahead.
so that is why I'm saying that our young people can come into agriculture, but they have to do it and do it right.
Mm-hmm.
And if they do it right, they will not regret investing in agriculture.
Right. And so we've sort of laid the framework, the background for what we mean by climate smart farming. It's really to do an assessment of the local conditions, the
Yeah,
conditions in the island, the seasons, the type of soil, the type of terrain, knowing that we get affected by hurricanes, knowing that we see more severe rainfalls as well as more severe dry times, and to take all of that data into account, mix it with our built up knowledge or historical knowledge, and find a way to say to be scientific about going forward. We at 8:30. I am going to take our break right now because when I come back, I want us to we're going to talk a little bit more, a lot more about young people and the opportunities that exist for them in using the data and the traditional knowledge to make agriculture attractive to them not just because we want them to be, but to show them how they can make a decent and a viable living from agriculture that is properly adapted to our times and our conditions. So stay tuned. We'll be right back with my guest, uh, Mr. Adrian Banis, farmer, entrepreneur, and agro-industrialist and consultant. He wears many, many hats. So we'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Presented by
People say I've got a great smile. Well, I have to say, this is all thanks to the professional team at Beacon Dental Group right here in Dorchester, Massachusetts. I've got world-class dental care. Beacon Dental Group has expert and caring staff dedicated to providing the most advanced and satisfactory treatment in all aspects of oral health. Their services are designed to meet your needs and give you a perfect smile, too. General checkups, cosmetic surgery, Gemini laser service, and advanced procedures, all in a state-of-the-art facility. Call or visit Beacon Dental Group today, 1026 Blue Hill Avenue, Dorchester, Massachusetts, or call 617-282-2146 for a smile that lights the world.
Looking to promote your business, engage current customers, and reach new people? Well, look no further. From the basic presentation to a fully fledged advertisement, use your video ads to attract customers. At Man's Audiovisual Productions, we do just that. We produce videos for business and event promotions, product demo videos, animated explainer videos, fundraiser ads, and much, much more. Engage your clients and sell online. We customize the video to match your brand design. Guaranteed to play flawless on all devices, including smart TVs. Contact us at telephone number 203-690-4342 or 767-245-6238. Visit our website, mansaudiovisual.com, or email us at derekvideo@gmail.com.
Running a radio station shouldn't be chaos. It should be simple, smart, and professional. With Joan Premium, your entire week schedule is beautifully organized and easy to manage. Real-time accuracy keeps your listeners in sync with every show. Your visitors and audience sees the right schedule every time, wherever they are. They can even choose different time zones. From analytics to social media and native app integration, Joan Premium is the professional tool your station deserves. You're never alone. We provide priority support for active license users. We're building a community. Connect with broadcasters worldwide through our Joan Community Hubs. Choose your plan, annual flexibility, or lifetime freedom. Get Joan Premium today. www.gndenterprisesinc.com or call 877-698-9894 for more information.
So we're back. Thanks for staying with us through the break. My guest tonight on this weekend interview is Pastor Adrian Banis, and we're doing our usual monthly uh, Green MAGA, Make Agriculture Great Again. And tonight we're talking about climate smart agriculture, how young people can participate and benefit from climate smart agriculture. Before the break, we sort of made a broad definition of what we mean by climate smart agriculture. Just really in a layman's term, understanding the conditions, local conditions under which we can make a determination of what to grow, when to grow it, and what to do with the produce. So, and even by local, we mean, of course, the region, the Caribbean region, and narrow it down to Dominica, if our mountains, our rainfall, our terrain, our quality or type of soil, volcanic soil, and even narrowing it down further to whether it's the East Coast, the West Coast, in the North or in the South, and also onto the actual location. Is your farm in the flat on Castle Bruce, or is it in the hilly area? Is it in the dry area of Salisbury, or in the wet areas? How do you choose the crops to grow? How do you take into account that you look at the data, maybe every 5 years or whatever it is, the country gets hit with a major hurricane. Every 2 to 3 years, there's a major tropical storm or rain event that also affects it. How do you manage the soil, taking that into account that it's steep and also there's a lot of rainfall? Do we what mitigation we can take so that we don't lose too much of our topsoil? So in terms of young people, Adrian, when we talk about young people, we usually think of the future and technology. But in the first half of the program, when we were in the framework, you highlighted the importance of looking back and using our traditional knowledge, the knowledge that we got from our parents and those before them, and in terms of how do we incorporate the phases of the moon, how do we and different practices that were practiced traditionally, not necessarily unscientific. It's just that maybe we didn't have the scientific explanation. But as we apply and we take notes and we keep data, we realize that there is validity in some of those things that we thought was just, what they say, old folk tales in terms of agriculture. So for example, I remember, if you're going to plant potatoes, you don't plant it when the moon is out because it gets worms, those kind of things. If you're going to plant trees, you don't plant it when the moon is rising because they grow tall instead of growing wide. Certain times of the month where you don't prune your trees, you have to know all of those things. But so young people getting involved in agriculture in a way that takes into account the climate. The opportunity, I guess, is where we don't throw out all of that knowledge, but we can use technology to make the knowledge more available, to be able to make connections and linkages between the different types of information, tap it with the vast amount of information that's available on the internet, and also just really, how do we make it so that young people feel attracted to agriculture and not turned away because maybe they don't feel like it is dignified enough, because traditionally there are certain professions we hold up, and maybe farming is not one of them.
But farming is a very good profession if you do it well.
Right,
Because remember, I always say one thing. I always say, food must sell
right.
because people must eat.
We must eat,
They,
exactly.
they must eat.
Right,
Right? You might not be able, you might not buy a clothes, you might not buy a shoe, but you must buy food.
right.
Okay? And every time people see food, they want to eat.
Hmm.
But it's what kind of food that is being produced, and we need to produce healthy food because when you check it out, when you look at it, the foods that are being that are being give supply to us, they are not healthy foods.
Right,
Been reading a book the other day about apple, and if you read about apple and how they ripen the apple, you're not going to eat the apple because they're using a chemical that is very toxic. And that chemical that they're using that is so toxic, when you eat that thing staying in your tissue,
hmm,
right, in your inside of you, and after a couple years. And that's why you find a lot of people, they are prone to cancer. And I'm so blessed. I went and do my test by the doctor.
very good.
And man, I when the doctor told me, he came, I mean, he told me he was checking what I, and there's only two things that really I have to check on. So, and they are not really life threatening. But what I've done, I have moved into plant-based diet, I eat more fruits, more vegetables, and drinking more water.
Hmm.
And it's not just drinking water; you have to drink good water. So you don't eat in Kentucky's and the fry the all the different food. That's why America have so many different sicknesses. I mean, when I names that I'm hearing sometimes, I try to wonder where they get them.
Right.
Okay. So as a young person, if you take on agriculture, you have land as a matter of fact. If you have land and you take on agriculture and you do it right, you don't have to go and if you have 10 acres, you don't have to go and plant the entire 10 acres immediately. What you have to do is to do it by degrees, or you do it by plots,
Hmm.
and then you plant healthy food, because when you have healthy food, people will come and find you, to get it, because in today's world, because of the number of sicknesses that have been around, persons want to make sure that right now that they eat healthy. Although I find so many things, so many medicine they're giving you on Facebook, I cannot careful. You can destroy yourself. But so, as I said, if you focus on planting and do it right, that's why I always say, when we were growing up and we started working in agriculture in the banana industry, we had model plots. They call them demonstration plots,
Right.
where people would come and you would train them, and they would see how the plants are growing based on what you told them. They would see how it's growing, and then they would go and pattern after that. But these days you have got nothing that somebody can see, that they can go back and say, okay, I want to pattern according to that. I want to pattern my farm, or to according to what I saw. So again, the young people, I right now I think where I'm going to partner with the college and do some work with them and set up a plot there, so they can have that plot in the Rosa area at the college. So students that are doing agriculture can see it's not just going and plant food, and usually you spray first. You come, you spray first. After you spray, you dig, you plant. Then a rain come, rain come, it heavy, it wash away all your topsoil. Then the soil becomes a bit harder for the plant to grow, because there is no moisture in the soil. And then there is no tree cover in the soil. And as you go, when the sun comes, it makes the soil hard, and you are not getting the yield that you want to get. And I can testify of when you stop, I stopped really using Gromoxone. I started having a lot of tanya. So the Gromoxone, what the Roundup used to do, the Roundup used to kill the tanya,
Hmm.
right? Because Roundup is a systematic. It goes into the soil, and and when it Roundup goes into it stays there for a while. So when you plant the tanya, it's not. So again,
Hmm.
as a young person, all you have to do is to ensure that before you go into farming, into planting or whatever you're doing, you seek some advice, you seek some knowledge that will help you and that will guide you. I
Yeah.
you
So,
will, yeah, yeah. But
so I mean, one of the most valuable commodities in the world today is data, information, and so the Caribbean is wide open for young people who are technologically savvy, who understand computers, to
yeah,
just go around. They don't have to start on a big scale. Go around and talk to farmers.
right.
Maybe come to somebody like you who knows how to test the soil, and just start collecting some data: what type of soil it is, what crops they grow, how many ponds they get in an acre, if it's dashing or planting. It's just a matter of recording it. Are they intercropping different crops? with bananas, how long it takes from planting to harvesting, is there a second crop, just the information. There's a huge opportunity for the information. And once we start collecting information, that information now becomes valuable because somebody else who wants to go into agriculture can say, okay, this is my soil is similar to Adrian's soil. Adrian gets so many pounds of dashing per acre. Dashing sells for X amount of dollars. If I plant an acre of dashing, I can reap so much. Those types of things where it's not everybody that has to be in the farm planting and harvesting. That is essential. But there are so many other spin-off careers that opens up for young people. A person might be might be a good salesperson, a good negotiator. So you can buy the fruits from the farmer and go distribute it to the hotels and restaurants and maybe have individual homes that every Saturday you deliver some bananas and some dashing and some peppers to them. Or you can hook up with somebody who is interested in agro processing and organize to buy the raw fruit produce and do agro processing. There's so many ways. But Adrian, I am happy to hear that you are collaborating with the agricultural program at the college. Can you give us a little bit of, if you're familiar, uh, wh- what is the program like at the college? Does it address some of those uh, modernized ways of approaching agriculture?
Well, I don't really know what is their program per se. What I know is they are teaching the normal book information,
Okay.
and then the last time when they came to my farm, to our farm, we spent some time with them. They realized it is more than just what they are learning at the college,
Right.
and because they saw. 'Cause I heard a student say, "Boy, best I go into agriculture when I leave school, boy, because it look like agriculture have money."
Right.
So based on what he saw and the information that was passed on to him, so as you said, so many opportunities that are there, and I believe in agriculture, even at the school, they should broaden their scope or broaden their curriculum to make it more to put into include a lot of the technology that we have right now,
Right.
so that can help. So you don't have to be, as you said, you don't have to be directly involved in planting, but you can work with a core farmers, or you can work with some farmers, and you can set up a value chain. And because you set up that value chain, you know can sit can you'll be able to make money because um uh, you have part of the chain that
Right.
you can now you develop that can bring in income, but it's same agriculture.
Right.
So you can do data, you can do you can do
Marketing.
data
Hmm.
soil, you can do data of taking records of the trees and the crops, how they grow, how long they take, the
Yeah.
fruit, so many different things. Also, you can do food science, so you can come back and you can begin to develop. You can develop products, and that now you can now package it and put it on the shelf. You can do marketing. There's some, and if also you can team up somebody, you can buy a boat or two. So there are so many areas that you can do as a young person. Also, you can have your farm. Maybe you want to go into lettuce. You want to go into tomatoes. You want to you can specialize in crop also
Right.
and do it well.
Right.
Also, you can go into you can go into animals like goats and sheep and pigs,
Cattle
and
and pigs. Yeah. Hmm.
so the market, and the market is so big, and it can create a big, or it can create mass employment, but it's how you view it, and it's how you see it. And that's why I want to encourage young people, after you leave school, if you study agriculture, you should not just study agriculture because it's the name agriculture, but you study agriculture to make it a profession.
Right.
And then you can get as much as you can get out of it.
And not
Because
just,
I always say, it makes sense. I am the producer and I'm still marketing.
yeah, you producer, you adding value, producing products,
Yeah,
you still marketing, you still, yeah.
yeah,
There's room. There's a lot of room for collaboration.
lots of room.
And the thing about that, if you're from Dominica, you starting off with an advantage,
Yeah,
because there are so many challenges that some of the other islands in the Caribbean face in terms of the agriculture. Agriculture is so much harder in some of the other islands where there's not
that
as
is so
much
true.
rainfall, the soil is not as rich, or the road networks are less, and so there's so many opportunities. Despite the issues that we have with the internet lately, our telephone and internet service is not that bad. So extension work can happen easier. Data collection can happen
Yeah,
easier. You know, so we can correlate. In say in 2000 we produce X amount of dashing and X amount of plantains or whatever. In that year we had so much rainfall. In another year when there was less rainfall, what happened to the yield? You can start making those relationships, and just the
mm,
fact that you are the person who possess that data in and of itself makes you a person of value that can now provide advice. And when do we do artificial irrigation instead of depending on rainfall, and all of those things that young people can really go into and make an industry
yeah,
of it, you know. So, but Adrian, the college, I get the impression you say for now still does a lot of theory, and so that is where the partnership comes with people like you, where the students can come on the farm and get first-hand knowledge
yeah.
of what happens on a farm and what a farmer would need to know to make better choices. Uh, you had summer is coming up. Can you talk about some of the summer programs that you are planning to have on the farm?
All right, we are having a summer program starting next month. And I
July.
think we are going to cater for 30 young persons
Hmm.
from the ages of from 13 to 30 years.
Hmm.
It will be two weeks program. 1 week we'll be able to work with the younger ones, and the next week we work with the older ones, and
Hmm.
then we'll be teaching them on the different things that we have on the farm. We are doing what we are doing on the farm in the area of farm establishment. Teach them on pruning and plant propagation, all the different things that we know that they would need to learn in order to enhance their knowledge in agriculture.
Right.
And then the second week we will be doing some teaching them to do things like solar dryer, and teaching them how to dry fruits, teaching them also how to ferment, harvest cocoa, ferment, and then do a finished product. And at the end of the week, they will do a finished product that they can take home with them when they are going.
Awesome. So tell me more about the program. If somebody's interested, or somebody say I'm in the US and I have a nephew or cousin in Dominica that would like to sponsor to the program.
Well, we
Tell
have
me.
it on Facebook.
Uh-huh.
The all information on Facebook. I can
What
also send it to you.
what's the Facebook page?
Just go on BF Pro, BF Products.
Banis Farms.
Yeah, Yeah.
Banis Farm. If you Google, if you go
On
and
Facebook.
search for Banis
Yeah,
Farms,
you
you should
you
find
get
it,
it.
right?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
find it.
And you say you have two separate sessions.
Yeah.
One, the first one starting in July, and then
It's the two last week in July.
the two last weeks in July. Okay. So, folks, if you know of a young person that could benefit to sponsor, we can go on Banis Farms on Facebook and find out more about the summer program that they're hosting to help introduce and grow young people and get them interested, grow their interest in farming, and making sure that those that are interested are actually getting the information so they can start off properly with the correct mind frame and with some skills and knowledge that they can use and implement as they go and start to establish their farms. And of course, outside of that program, Adrian, you welcome, I guess, people who visit the farm for whatever
Yeah,
reason.
yeah, yeah. People can come and visit and see what we are doing. And I think also we are now trying to go into some hydroponics. I think we should, if things go well, we should have it set up in the next couple of weeks.
Uh-huh.
So also you can see how we're looking at that technology, so persons can know. So what we are trying to do is to put to do to put a lot many different things that that can enhance agriculture. So when you come, you are not just getting one thing, but you are getting different ways that you can farm. I also going to develop something that you're going to do with drums. Just cut the drums and put them in line. I can plant sweet potato. I can plant different things in them to show that also you can use your waste plastics, or if you want, instead of going to throw them in the environment, you can use it to plant food and to
Mm.
grow food. And
For
also
people
we
that
have
don't have an acre of land, but they have some
right.
place where they can, yeah, okay.
Also we're going to teach them to do backyard gardening,
Mm.
where you can do things like stands. Remember when you used to grow before, our parents used to always have stand in the backyard
Yeah. Hmm.
growing their
Hmm.
lettuce. Yeah, right. This is another way that they can learn to plant and to grow different things. And then the animals, well, my rabbits are now producing, so soon I will have a lot of rabbit. That will help, that when you come to organic manure,
Right.
you, you can use the rabbit feces one time.
Or
You can use the urine. Also, the
um,
urine also as a
pest repellent.
pesticide.
Uh-huh.
I don't like to use the word pesticide, but
Pest
best I use
repellent. Yeah.
best I use the word as a pest control,
Pest control. Yeah.
right, method. So there are lots of things that we can do locally and that's what we're going to do is to produce healthy food, not just produce food, but produce healthy food. That is important.
And to circle back to the thing about the young people are interested in things that they consider to be novel and innovative, and they like to see that they get good results. And
Yes.
so the different things that you're talking about, I think most young people would be interested in.
Yeah.
Yeah. And even they may not be interested, as we said, interested in farming. Some of them will be interested in farming if they can see and vision how they can make a decent living from the farming. Just like when banana was in its heyday, a lot of young people went into bananas because it allowed them to be able to buy a vehicle, to build a house, and on the weekend to dress nicely and to go out in a social way. I think similarly, if we can show that to young people, they would be interested in farming. But for those that are not interested in farming, they would be able to see themselves fitting somewhere along, as you call it, Adrian, the value chain. They can see where on the whole
Yeah.
value chain they would fit. And so we bang at 9 p.m. So I this time went by pretty quickly because it's very interesting, folks. The
Yeah.
the idea that we have to, like, our parents came from subsistence farming, where the agriculture was associated with slavery and hard work, and not getting the reward, somebody else reaping the reward. And so when great grandparents or grandparents got the opportunity, they move away from that, and their primary concern was being able to provide food for their families and something.
Right.
So, it's evolved to where now we should be able to take all that knowledge they gathered, take the current technology, and
Right.
show how we can make agriculture viable and attractive, and get our young people interested in that. So, Adrian, I'm going to allow you to make some closing remarks. I don't know if there's some things that you may have planned to talk about that we didn't, because we're right at 9 p.m.
Well, we are approaching the hurricane season. I want to encourage farmers, those of you out there, please try as much as possible to prune. The lower the trees are, is the less damage you're going to get. That is
Mm.
one.
Okay.
Also, I want to encourage young people, please begin to think that you can become a professional farmer and you can make money out of farming. You just have to do it well. And also look at the number of opportunities that we shared tonight that you can you can find yourself doing, or you can take these opportunities and turn them into money. Also, you can take all these crops that are wasting, you can turn them into added value. These days, people are doing water with fruits before. I mean, you can do drinks, you can do a lot of different things, so many things
Mhm.
that we can do. Now we find in the region, people are really coming back and beginning to eat what they grow. Even all the governments are encouraging their people to eat what you grow. So because they recognize that if they continue to import food, they are going to be in a lot of trouble. They're going to have starvation. Because when America or whoever said that I can't send more food for you,
Right.
what are you going to do that? Now we have a very, very good opportunity also. May I share that to young people? That the Bahamas they want to import 2 point something million dollars worth of produce, fresh produce, added value, and whatever else you have into Bahamas. They want to stop in importing food from America and the other countries. They want to come into the Caribbean. This is a huge opportunity, and CARICOM is trying to aid them to do that. So again, if you are out there, young people, and you are a person that you are innovative, we were just looking at a boat that can carry transport, can carry vehicles, can carry passengers, and it can carry still
Produce.
carry containers.
Mhm.
And it costs $3.5 million US. So hey, five, six, seven, eight, 10 people can come together and invest in that. You can't go wrong
Mhm.
because the market is now opening. All right. So these are some of the opportunities that are there that we can tap into. And sometimes people wait on the government to give them. The government not going to do anything for you, especially now. Government's not going to do anything for people anymore. They're more going to increase taxes, but
Right.
not going to invest in you because they believe that investing in you is not they're not going to benefit. So we have to take our take our opportunities and step out in faith. I like to use the word risk, and then we can now collaborate together and see how we can create an impact in our country and in our economy.
Okay. That's awesome. And of course, I will put it icing on it and say that Dominica's natural advantage
Yes,
is agriculture and water
that's
you can add. Our natural advantage is agriculture. We sitting in the middle of the chain of islands, and there are islands on both sides of us, north and south, that have challenges in growing their own food. And so and we have land, fertile land, that if we manage it properly, we can we will not all of the food that we possibly can produce will not be enough after we feed ourselves to export to the other islands. So there is it's a vast ocean of opportunity that
Yep.
we can take advantage of. And I know Adrian and his family are very welcoming to visitors. So one of those days, summer is coming, you're out of school or you want to go on a little lime, take a drive up to Bannis Farms, see what they're about, see what they do. It's going to stimulate some ideas in your head. And trust me, you're going to live there inspired as to what is possible. You know. So folks, thank you for tuning in. Thank you to my guests, Pastor Adrian Banis. I hope that we got you thinking, because that's the objective of the program, is to get you thinking, but not just get you thinking in such a way that you can see what the next step is that you're supposed to take. Because we don't want to just have a bunch of ideas without action. So the action I'm suggesting to you is that if you're interested in agriculture, make your way to Castle Bruce or give a call to Pastor Adrian. Tell him you want to come visit his farm. He will tell you when to come. You can spend a day, you can spend half a day. If you go up with your working clothes, you can even participate in some of the activities that's going on. Get immersed in the
Yep.
farming, and you're going to live there inspired. You're going to look at his processing. He's making chips, he's making flour, he's doing different activities, he's experimenting. He might have some stuff that he did 3 months ago, and he's taking notes and observing how well it sits on the shelf. There's so much you're going to learn. So the action that I want you to take is to really sit down and think about, if you were to get into the farming industry, from actual farming all the way to marketing, where do you think you would fit? And go up to Casabras, talk to Adrian, see what he's doing, talk to his family. His whole family is involved in farming, and they're very, very creative and innovative.
And then you
And
shop, and then you shop one time.
exactly. There's stuff that's available that you're going to enjoy. Is delicious chips. Go back with recipes for the breadfruit flour. There's all of that exciting stuff. There's a river right there that after you learn, you can go relax and have a bath.
Yep.
It would just be a beautiful day. So that's what I would like you to do. So Adrian, before we go, you heard when I was talking about, we collected the steel pans,
Okay.
and now I have them in New York. So I'm going to talk to the shippers to see what would be involved to get them to Dominica. But we're super super excited. It seemed to be, I'm not a steel band player, but it seems to be a full ensemble,
A full orchestra.
full orchestra.
Why,
Because it has the
wow.
bass drums, it has the mid bass, it has the let me pretend like I know something about music. It has the tenor pans. I mean, literally, when I got there, I see the amount of pans. I'm like, oh God, how am I getting all of this into the vehicle? But we managed to get it.
It have drum set?
No, it doesn't have a drum set.
Okay.
So that was missing, but it has the pans, and it has the metal stands and so on to put them on to support them when you play. So it has that. It doesn't have a drum set, but I'm excited. I'm super super
I
excited.
know, yeah, man. I'm
Yeah,
excited too, man.
and we have the training program with Pan in Harmony. So
So yes,
once
contact them.
I have already contacted them, because, like I
Okay.
said, we have a group where we work with Pan in Harmony to do the training in the schools, and they're excited. And so hopefully during the month of July, we can get it into Dominica. We may have to lean on you in the audience to contribute towards helping us with the
Yeah,
shipping,
yeah, yeah.
you know. But once we have all of those figures figured out, I will announce it. But we're super excited. It most likely will be based in Castle Bruce, but it will be for the benefit of the schools in and around the region, because
Yeah.
the objective is to get enough students trained in steel band that we can have competitions, we can have festivals, we can have
Amen.
all, and really a new skill, a new way of enjoying life for our young people. So
Also,
thank
a guy promised me free two keyboards.
mm, where is he though?
He's in Baltimore. You know,
Oh, well,
yeah.
well, we missed that opportunity because we drove through Baltimore.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, from Virginia. Yeah,
But last
very
night he told me you have them in the storeroom there. So
okay.
he'll send them for me.
Okay.
So I tell him I will connect you with him. So
All
we'll
right.
send it on them stuff. We'll just put
We'll see
everything
what
together.
we'll see what's possible.
I have to write a letter to the government to waive the VAT.
Yeah, and I'll put you in touch with Miss Andre from Pan in
Okay.
Harmony
All right.
because she said she indicated that she may be able to um, request some of the waiver of the fees once they get to Dominica and that kind of a thing. Well, no, she spoke about for the shipping with Tropical, but yeah,
Okay.
um, we are just exciting times that we should get that in the hands of the students as soon as possible to get some of this
Boy,
training
Pan
going.
was doing so well in Dominica at one time, man, and
Yeah,
we need to really bring
it's
it.
still there like everything else. There's going to be a revival, a
So
resurgence.
they have Pan in Harmony.
Oh, the band they perform all the time. It's just
Ah,
that I mean, if you perform, it's a little heavy if you're going to do training in Castlereagh to bring your same pans that you're going to, But if it's already available, then you know, because they've been
okay,
to Castlereagh to do a couple of sessions. We do Castlereagh Savant Pie, a school in Portsmouth, St. Martin's School. There's like 5 or 6 schools that they're involved in the actual
okay.
training these students to learn. So I'll look you up with them and
Yeah.
we'll carry that forward. All right.
All right, my bro.
All right. So I'm
Thank
gonna
you very
say
much, man, for your
no problem. I'm gonna say
support.
thank you and all the best. And
Oh, but you
let's
must
go
remember,
from there.
Asaf going to leave on the 10th, of July.
Oh, okay. He's leaving on 10th of July to Germany.
Yeah.
Okay, great. We
So
had appealed to the audience to sort of help to assist. Maybe you come back maybe first weekend in July. Well, that would be too close. But he'll be there for a month,
3 months.
for 3 months. So even if you come back first week in July, assistance would still be required to help him while he's
Yeah,
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So then
Yeah.
maybe you come back early in July. Let's spend some time of the program talking about what that is and see
Okay.
if we can get some members of the audience who'd be willing to contribute.
All right.
All
Okay.
right.
Yeah, man.
Okay. So take care, my
So,
brother, and
tomorrow, what time we can talk?
I'll call you.
All right.
Okay.
Good.
All right. So, folks, there you had in another, interesting episode of This Week in Interview with Pastor Banis, Adrian Banis. Our topic tonight was climate smart agriculture, how young people can participate and benefit from climate smart agriculture. And so many opportunities exist along the value chain of the agriculture industry, the planting part of it, the knowledge and data processing and decision making, the marketing, the added value processing, improving the shelf life, all of those things. Um, Climate, how much rainfall. There's just a whole myriad of opportunity that's available, but we have to be able to break it down so that a young person understands and they can draw a line between where they are and a very successful and lucrative career in agriculture that is climate smart, that anticipates severe rain events, severe wind events, hurricanes, and when it does happen, they're prepared for it, and it doesn't discourage them because it actually provides opportunities for them. And so that is the way we have to approach our agriculture. We know what the risks are, we know what the incidents are. So we have to be able to operate in such a way that when it happens, it's unfortunate it happens, but we can see the opportunities that it brings. So, for example, you have a hurricane that knocks out your crop, but if you have produce that you have stored that has improved shelf life, the opportunity is increasing price because now it's scarce, right? So we can think about those things. We can think about crops that are not impacted because they're underground, and so on and so forth. So, folks, thank you for tuning in. I hope that you are having a wonderful week and that you continue to have a great week following. And join me again next week, Wednesday, for another episode of This Week in Interview with your host, Anthony Jago. Before I go, I said I have to make it a point that every week, I'm going to remind you to go and confirm. If you're from Dominica, there is a process going on now where you have to reconfirm yourself on the voters list. Uh, if you're not on that list, you are not going to be able to vote. So many people are pushing back and saying that they don't think their vote is going to make a difference and therefore they're not going to re-register. Well, what I'm saying, go to re-register. Re-registering doesn't mean you're going to vote. It just means that when the election is called, you have the opportunity to make a decision to vote or not. But if you don't add yourself to the list and you're not on the list and election is called, you have no choice. You've given away your choice. And so we would like to see an acceleration of the number of people who are registering to vote. Find out what it takes. I think usually you need a birth certificate, and you just need someone to prove your residency in that community. So make the effort. See it as something that you want to do. If you are living in Dominica and you're 18 years of age, go and register, reconfirm. Never mind that you're on the list from before. They're making a whole new list. So go and put yourself on to give yourself the opportunity to vote. The other thing is, this is the last Wednesday in June, and June is Men's Health Awareness Month. I encourage you to go and make an appointment to see a doctor, find out, do a prostate exam, do a colonoscopy if you haven't done one in 5 years, do an endoscopy. Just find out where your health is so that you can confirm that you're healthy, or if there is something of concern, you can catch it earlier, because the earlier you catch any negative news is the better your chance of being able to mitigate it easily and with minimal effect. So be, be not mindful of that. The men in the audience or the women, encourage the men in your life to go take a prostate exam, do your colonoscopy, do your blood work, and of course, do a little bit of exercise, wake up a half an hour earlier, go for a walk, or park your car a little further away and walk. Just do something consciously, make yourself do a little more physical exercise and activity. Okay, folks, I'm gone. If you have folks in Europe, I hope that they're safe from the heat wave. We see a lot of stuff going on there. But good night and enjoy the early days of summer. See you next week.